Hello, tarot friends. Welcome back to my channel, Tantra and Tarot with Kelly. Today, we're going to be talking about the astrology for April and do a tarot card reading as well. First off, I'd like to say thanks so much to all my subscribers. Please subscribe if you have not already. You're helping me grow as a channel, and I really appreciate it. I would like to also wish a happy birthday to all Aries. Well, we've made it through the long, cold winter and have merged on the other side into spring and into the astrological new year. So today we're going to do a reading using the Garbage Pail Tarot along with the I Ching and other oracle decks. I'm going to go ahead and begin shuffling, and let's start talk about the major aspects of April. So at this time, we still have all planets moving direct until later this month. On April 3rd, we have Mercury moving into Taurus, slowing down our communication so we can pay attention to details and be methodical with our thinking, talking in loving ways, and slowing down our approach to words will be important, as we also will have Mercury going retrograde later this month. However, we are going to be doing some communicating about our five senses and preparing for that retrograde. On April 5th, we have the Sun conjunct Chiron at 4 p.m. Mountain Time at 15 degrees 51 minutes of Aries, which will be shining a light on the pain that you still need to heal and move through, illuminating pieces of unintegrated personal data that you can begin to process prior to the full moon in the later hours of the day. I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck. At the bottom of the deck, I've got the Eight of Cups, so we'll see how that comes into play in the reading. All right, so yeah, April 5th and 6th, late in the hours on the 5th, early hours on the 6th, depending on where you're living, we're going to have that full moon in Libra at 10:34 p.m. Mountain Time, which will be opposing the Chiron Sun conjunction, bringing endings and closure to painful relationships, contracts, and rebalancing your world with new eyes. The ruler of the lunation, Venus, will be in her other home sign of Taurus, conjunct Uranus, which could bring surprise endings and revolutionary changes to how you are currently living your life. On April 11th, we will have the Sun conjunct Jupiter, which is one of the most positive days of the year. And so that should bring some joy to any of the dark places that are remaining after that interesting full moon we will have. So let's see here. Also on April 11th, we have Venus ingressing into Gemini. So that will change how that heart chakra is working and feeling for this month. Let's see, just got a couple more cards to pick here, a couple more of these oracle cards. We're going to shuffle these up and pick a moon card. All right, so then on April 19th and 20th, we will have the much anticipated solar eclipse new moon in Aries at 29 degrees 50 minutes at 10:13 p.m. Mountain Time. This eclipse will be opening doors that have been closed and inoperable since 2004, which was the last time we had an eclipse at this marker in Aries. So that should be exciting. What hasn't been working or what needs to end should now be abundantly clear. And this marks the beginning of the shifts into the nodes of Aries and Libra, which are that self and relationship axis. So look to see where this falls in your chart for more details. And finally, on April 21st, Mercury will begin its retrograde journey into Taurus, bringing a time of reflection and slowing down, allowing for integration of all this exciting energy. All right, well, let's see if we have everything here, and let's begin the reading. Okay, so I'm going to take a main energy, a past, a present, and a future. And like we said, we had that Eight of Cups at the beginning. So that Eight of Cups does represent a walking away from something that was not emotionally positive for you. It just didn't fulfill you like you want. So now here you are going on a solo journey to try to find that Ace of Cups to bring you the Nine of Cups. So at this point, if you're feeling like you need to spend a little bit more time alone, that may be important as you are getting ready to contemplate all of these changes this month. All right, so little alone time. The main energy I have for this month is the Eight of Pentacles. The past energy I have is the Four of Cups. Present energy, Nine of Swords. Future energy, the Lovers. Ooh, so let's see what we have for some of these other oracle cards, and then we'll do the reading and see how it all works together. Bottom of the deck, I should mention, I also have the Hermit card. So another layer on that alone time looking within for the answers. Our animal spirit card for this month is the Earthworm. That Venus is going to be talking to us, and she's going to be talking about romantic feelings. And then our archetype card for this month is Trickster. The moon card I have is You Are Good Enough, full moon in Virgo. And the two I Ching cards I have are number 64 and number 57. So we'll read a little bit more about that here soon. But let's go ahead and see what this tarot means. So we have two eights that have come out. So there's going to be some divine timing this month. And although this month may not be as powerful as last month, as far as some of those major movements go, we are integrating on a deeper level that Pluto shift, that Saturn shift into Pisces. And what's it going to mean? It means that there are things that we are going to be getting better and better at as we're putting our mind and heart into working a little bit harder at things that we may just need some more practice on. That could be your relationship. It could be working on your inner self, however, with the inner, with looking inside with the Hermit card and with our Eight of Cups, I feel like this month is going to be more of a spiritual one for some. That Chiron conjunction is going to be bringing up areas in which you likely need to work on, that you need to think about on a deeper level, perhaps, that have not been something that you've had to process for a while. So we're going to be doing some processing this month. And what does that mean? That means, we have this Four of Cups here. There is going to be things that you're going to be closing the door on so that new doors can open. Which doors have you left open that you're like, I can close this door. I can energetically shut this area of my life off now and focus on something else. And maybe that area of your life that you need to close has been causing you anxiety. And if you aren't sure what area of your life you need to make some changes in, try to think about what it is that you've been worrying about. What's taking up so much space in your mind right now that maybe you can't focus on work? Maybe you haven't been able to get the work done because there's some things that you need to say no to. Some people, some relationships, some old contracts. There's some areas of your life that are just, they're just ready for a renewal. And so knowing which offers that are coming to you are not the ones you want should help sort out some of those excess thoughts that could be running around in your mind right now. This month is going to be illuminating much of what we no longer need to hold on to as far as our mental processes go. With this Mercury retrograde slowing down in Taurus, maybe thinking more about how we're making money, be thinking more about work. If there is some kind of nightmare going on in your world as it has to do with money, maybe you need to just focus more on work as opposed to those outside relationships. Focus more on what's going to make you happy on the inside. And that may be leaving where it is that you're currently at. Maybe you need to move, maybe you need to move jobs. And there will be some choices for you to make here. With the Lovers card in the future, this is that doorway, the Venus moving into Gemini. This is that Gemini card of the twins. Who is it in your life right now? And this could be illuminated more by that full moon in Libra. Which of your relationships are most important to you? Who is it that's reflecting back to you who you feel like you truly are? If there's a relationship that's giving you anxiety and you're like, wow, I usually feel really good except for when I spend time with this one person, well, then that may mean that you need to make the decision to say no to that person, to to say, you know, I see the offer that you have here and it's just not for me right now. But that doesn't mean that you aren't looking at some other areas. With this romantic feelings card, we also have the Knight of Cups right there underneath the Hermit. It says that we're going to be dreaming of where our heart feels best, and to feel romantic, that may be a new beginning for us. It could be a new start in love with this earthworm and having those new romantic feelings like you haven't had in a while, maybe in the last 18 to 20 years. You may feel like just a new soul again as it pertains to your world. And we are starting that astrological year. This is the beginning. And the earthworm doesn't know how to do everything yet. They're learning. They're going to have to put in the work. They make one plate and then they make 8 plates. And finally, now they are no longer the earthworm. So we're going to be repeating what it is that we've learned. We're going to be putting things into action. I see this as somewhat of a romantic month, but I do see some relationships ending as well, especially if they are taking up too much space in your head for what is necessary at this time. Maybe you are making them more important than they need to be, and the relationship that is the most important one this month is the one that you have with yourself. As we see here, the full moon card does say you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. So whatever this thought processes of yours that may be saying something else to you, or if somebody said no to you, that does not mean that there is not something special coming for you in the universe. And what we get rejected by is a form of protection by the universe. So just know that you're meant for greater things, and that which is falling away is not to your resonance. So that is good to know. Let's take a look at our archetype card. I do think that this one is going to be an interesting one this month. Perhaps people that don't want to make the changes, maybe trying to manipulate others into sticking around, and you need to be mindful of those who are not being honest with you at this time, as always. But with this trickster card, some people may be doing some extra manipulation to stay in their fantasies. So it says light attribute, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. So kind of being the magician of sorts. We have this magic hat here. Surprises coming up, like we said. We do have the lunation ruler conjunct Uranus right now. So anything could happen. And then we say shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity. You want to make sure that who you're talking to is who you think you're talking to. You don't want to be talking to the shadow side or the twin. When we have some Gemini energy coming up, we need to make sure that we are not being two-faced. So be mindful of how you are being with others, as to not cause any confusion for them. The clarity that we're going to be seeking this month will be coming in later. So be ready to say no and say goodbye to things that are causing you anxiety, so you can have a more fulfilling month if at this point you are not feeling fulfilled. So it is yours to make of it, and a lot of it is going to be a head game this month. So stay out of any of that excess worrying. Let's take a look at the I Ching. We have number 64, which is the very last card of the I Ching. And that does speak of those endings. However, the excitement is that it also says that the end is a new beginning. Nearing completion. Fire above, water below. The situation is incomplete, but the chaos of the past is giving way to order. The goal is in sight. Nevertheless, you are still treading on thin ice. Though the way ahead is unobstructed and the goal clear, a cautious and careful attitude is still important, lest you slip and fall. So that Mercury and Taurus should help us slow down a little bit in that way. Nearing completion is the last hexagram of the I Ching. It suggests that the ever-spinning wheel of life never reaches a final conclusion. Just as the hidden sadness resides in the heart of true euphoria, just as the seeds of amazing achievement can sprout from a cauldron of adversity, no end is ever really complete without a new beginning stirring inside of it. We may divide life into categories to understand and manage it, but experience itself is seamless. The Tao's 64-spoked timeless wheel of change is ready to spin onward, ever evolving, ever staying the same. The situation represented by this reading can be compared to taking the lengthy trek over a high mountain. At some point before reaching the peak, you can see in detail exactly how much further you have to travel. You will have a good idea of what it will take to reach the top because of the climbing experience you accumulated thus far. However, when you do reach the peak, which has been in sight for quite a long period, you will have done only that. You will have reached the top and achieved your initial goal, but you must still descend the other side. The last critical segment of what remains before completion, the integration, like we talk about, you're going to be illuminated when the sun hits Chiron, what it is, what mountain it is with for you that you are still climbing. And then as the sun hits Jupiter, that should be that positive euphoria, the hidden sadness, then the true euphoria. So I think we will be truly experiencing that this month, perhaps the lows, then the highs, and then the integration. Consider too the possibility that you have little information and no experience of what it's like descending the other side of the mountain, like our earthworm here. Because all of your attention has been focused on the path going up, the coming situation may seem very strange for you, unlike anything you have experienced before. But the other side of the mountain is where the true mysteries reside. Proceed carefully and cautiously, alertly, and you will arrive honorably at the completion of your goal. Let's read just real quick a bit more about this earthworm, and then we will read the second I Ching and our special message in between. So the earthworm does say that we are a beginner, and it also says that when in balance, you are earnest, intelligent, and valuable. And when out of balance, self-conscious, apprehensive. Bring into balance, speak up, risk embarrassment, which may be happening as we're trying some new things. We're learning how to work more with something that is new, and certainly staying out of the head, if that is how you feel, should help. All right, so let's see what number 57 says. And then we will read the special line in between the two. All right, number 57 is, pardon me. All right, gentle penetration. Wind above, wind below. A subtle penetrating effect is like a soft wind blowing through reeds that are bending gracefully, demonstrating flexibility and endurance. This symbolizes a quiet, relaxed, effective action. A gentle influence is at work. But as the wind can be ceaseless in its efforts, small forces can add up to produce lasting results. Gentle penetration bodes well for new relationships or enterprises. Just as a summer breeze slowly penetrates the woods to cool the forest, the ideas of gifted leaders slowly reach and sink into the minds and the hearts of people. In personal relationships, a gentle beginning can lead to a strong, lasting union. When using force that is soft but persistent, careful aim is necessary, for when only a small force continually moves in the same direction, it will have an accumulative effect. In human affairs, this is kind of a soft influence that comes through the strength of character rather than by direct confrontation or active seduction. It is important to have and stick to clearly defined goals, maintaining a strong vision and following a steady course of least resistance that will bring good fortune. So less is more, sustained over a long period of time. And with this eclipse that we're going to be having in Aries, I truly believe this is going to be making great leaders of people who are now stepping into that role. So it's a good time to focus on your leadership skills and how you're leading others in towards the path that you are going. So keeping your head on straight, knowing where you're headed will definitely be important this month. Let's see what the changing line is between the two. Okay, so we have line 3, line 4, and line 5 are all changing. So we are going to read 64, line 4 for our final bit of information here. Inevitably, as chaos gives way to new order and trouble dissolves themselves in the clarity of fresh solution, new struggles develop. This line refers to a situation in which forces of decadence or disorder are threatening again. You must advance strongly and firmly or face humiliation and defeat. Take heart and enter the fray. All of your skills, talents, and influence will be needed. Engage all of yourself right now. So, as that eclipse starts to work with the self, as we start to be aware of the partnerships that are no longer working and we're becoming that stronger leader, we are going to be dissolving the past. Saturn's going to be helping us dissolve those illusions as it's making its way through Pisces, and we are going to be starting in a new direction. Well, I hope that all of you enjoyed this reading, and I hope you have a lovely month in April. And I will be back next month for readings and messages for the month of May. So stay safe, be happy, and be positive. Thanks for your likes and subscribes, and we'll talk to you soon. Please subscribe to my channel for more Tantra and Tarot.